I appreciate you, bro, for jumping on. And honestly, just having a conversation about how you got on the last couple of weeks. I know you've been working very closely with me over the past 12 weeks, coming back from an injury, getting you back on the pitch. And honestly, just wanted to have a conversation about it and see how you're getting on.
Yeah.
Come here, take me back to, let's say, before you jumped on. Where were you at in terms of, again, talk to me about the injury, talk to me about kind of where you were at with the club, and yeah, paint a bit of a picture for us.
Well, it was the second game of pre-season at the hamstring. Felt I was flying to be fair before the hamstring felt good. And then after the hamstring, really, the first few weeks, I was probably not in the gym as much because obviously it was a bit down and all. But then once you text me on Instagram, then that was actually, it was about 2 weeks into it, was it? The hamstring, I think it was. Wasn't too long, and that really helped me get back into the gym and have a reason to go to the gym more so than anything.
I think as well, like you had obviously the ACL as well. You've kind of dealt with your fair share of injuries, but as you know, each one kind of brings a new challenge, like a new time to reassess and understand your own situation. And I think maybe yeah, perfect time, and I reached out. And like I know again, you can sense that you have a bit of a drive to get back on the pitch to get in the team, and I knew it straight away. Um, what kind of was going through your head during the injury, or like just straight after the injury for the first couple of weeks? How even was your head? Because obviously coming off the back of a serious ACL injury, it probably wasn't in good nick.
Yeah. To be fair, before the scan, I was just hoping that it was bare minimum, going to be grade one, grade two. But obviously, it was grade four then when I found out, and I was just gutted that I'd be out for so long again. But then obviously, when you reached out, it was a wee booster and probably a sign that I needed to just lock back in and get to the gym and stuff.
It's a big
So
problem
I
that.
think it came at the right time for me.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's a big problem that, especially injuries. Like I've had my fair share as well, and that little period of time, it's actually where you can make the most amount of progress. Is like during an injury up here and like in your physical body, but
Yeah.
it's also a time where a lot of people will relax and will take it easy and will do the bare minimum to get back. Take me back to the ACL injury. Maybe what did you try do back then that, let's say, you didn't want to do going into this?
I wouldn't say anything in particular, but diet plan would be one that I had this time round. I sacked that off and it on the knee. And to be honest, I'd probably be a bit chubby near the end. Lucky I was going on holidays and I actually tuned in then. But that's for me, that's the main one, having like a set amount of calories, set amount of stuff to hit. It's massive help when you're injured, like, because you need to keep on top of all that stuff.
100%, 100%. And again, like we said earlier, like really it takes something to kind of kick you into gear, doesn't it? Like you kind of need a holiday, you kind of need
Yeah.
something to look forward to do it on your own, realistically, because a lot of the time you don't want to do it on your own, uh, unless you have someone kind of in your corner. How did you find that kind of communication between, let's say, myself, between Reese was involved too, Max was involved? How did you find that in terms of like, let's say, holding you accountable, holding you to a standard?
Yeah, very good. Even I think maybe my second week I might have not checked in for like photos or anything and just were on it straight away. And might have not X'd off a session. You just straight in text. Why you not why you not uploading or whatever, and that just even that stuff helps you stay locked in. You might have not done it and then you go do it in the gym when you get a text. So no, we're all on it to be fair. And it helps massively.
I think it does, like, and realistically, we probably do it more than we need to, like, more than we should in a way. You can kind of get away with doing it once a week, doing your little check in, and that's it. But at the same time, we want to see you win as well. And especially when, let's say, you had an injury that I also had, that Reese also had, we know and we knew kind of what you were going through, like physically and mentally. And that's why we wanted to kind of push you and get you back, because we knew you could. And walk me through then, obviously, again, the injury was kind of put in a way, obviously, we're quite known for like our speed and our power improvements. Walk me through like what a week kind of looked like for you on the program, even with the injury.
Well, when I first joined up, we were trying to build some strength upper body and get bigger, and that's part. So it was a lot of arm days, which helped. You can tell in the photos too that I got bigger straight away. So that was the main goal at the start, was more leave off the well, not leave off the hamstring. I was still doing my rehab, but really nail the upper body and stuff.
And I think again, like realistically now you'd be going into a serious a serious training block in terms of your hamstring, making sure your speed is back. Obviously, you're back on the pitch now. What was that feeling like, kind of stepping back onto the pitch for the first time?
Yeah, properly training was class. To be fair, I was waiting for ages, and that's I know like there like maybe last week, 2 weeks ago maybe. I sort of was struggling for motivation again, but now that I'm back on the pitch, I want to get to the gym again. I want to do all my stuff. So it was a good feeling, to be fair.
I think that's the, like we've said it before. Really, as a footballer, you want to be on the pitch, but there are a lot of other stuff that maybe you don't consider that has to be done to actually get you back there. And I think it's so important. Again, physically, but also mentally. Obviously, you were quite deep in the weeds of the mindset program. Was there any kind of module in particular that stood out to you a little bit more than the others?
The very first module we done was like, do you remember the one where what was it, in a hole and you're trying to get out of the hole?
Yeah, the descent. Yeah.
That one, because at the time I probably was in a hole after the injury. So that one really stood out to me, and that gave me another wee push to, right, I need to tune in and get all my gym done, and I do need to get back on the pitch.
Think like realistically, those modules are there to like assess kind of where you at, or where you're at currently, and realistically, the someone will join and they'll be in different parts of the journey. You just happen to be in a bit of a hole. Like that's only natural after an injury, and it's up to you to kind of climb out. Obviously, we're there to help you, and I feel like, especially with a lot of the journaling work that you've done, or a lot of the kind of even just showing up to the calls every single week, um, it helps you push through. And I think maybe as well, I kind of want your opinion on this, but having other lads on the calls too, you almost felt like you were together. What was your thoughts on kind of the calls every single week?
No, definitely. If you don't feel like you're alone, the only person on the mindset call, there's like four maybe on four others. So, and they were all going through similar stuff. Everyone has their own stuff going on. So that does help when you have people around you and you feel like they're in the sort of same boat.
Like it's crazy how, you have different types of people in there. You've your footballers, your other athletes, your business agency guys, whatever it may be. But in reality, you're kind of going through a lot of the same stuff, and it's just
Mm.
interesting how the same principles apply. But you also learn from that. Like you can also learn from what these guys are doing in their business. Or I know we even talked about business at one stage, and it's just being surrounded by those types of people are, man, it's so important. Especially when you could very easily be alone with the injury. You could very easily sit in your room and you could very easily be upset that you're not playing. But you have these other lads kind of pushing you. You have these other lads, you know,
Mm.
keeping you accountable, and really that's what we do too. But yeah, obviously we're coming to the end of the kind of 12 weeks now. If you maybe had a mate who was maybe sitting on the fence about joining up with Tempo, what would you actually say to them?
I'd say definitely join up. There's so much good from all the program, like the obviously the mental side and then your physical side as well. The programs are always top notch. Like every week you've gym plan, like the whole week set out for you, and it's just massive help when you're trying to go to the gym. You have to go, or not like you have to go, you want to go, but you do have to go in a certain way to mark it off. And I just do think I would definitely tell them go for it.
Super. And what's the plan now going forward? Obviously, you're going to be back on the pitch. I know we have a bit of a break in 2 weeks, but back on the pitch and back in the starting lineup, I hope.
Yeah, obviously there's still a timeline on the injury. Hopefully after the break, I should be starting to get minutes, whether it be with the 20s or whoever. So that's the sort of the goal for after the break now.
Amazing, amazing. No, Daz, I appreciate that. I think again you've made some immense progress. Yes, somewhat limited. I think maybe due to the injury, but at the same time, you look at the photos, two different people, and you know we
Yeah,
definitely primed you and readied you up for getting back on the pitch. I think that's the number one thing. And like I said, I think the progress that you've made
yeah,
over the last
definitely.
couple of months has been incredible. So good stuff, my man.
Yeah. Cheers, Darragh.